Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the Get Up and Dad podcast, the podcast where we interview hardworking parents doing incredible things. This could be anything from a super duper tech dad to a busy business mummy blogger.
Let's get up and dad!
Today on the show we have Matt Gillespie from Thunder Park. Matt, can you first of all give us some context and tell us how many kids you've got and how old they are?
Right now I have one son and he just turned 3.
Brilliant. So can you tell us when you grow up, when your child grows up and he's thinking about maybe getting a job or he's thinking about the things he wants to do, how are you going to explain to him the types of things you have done?
That's a good question. First of all, my parents weren't stoked on the path that I had chosen for a career. My granddad and my dad were very much hands-on, go to college, university, get a useful degree that will carry you through life and make earning simple and straightforward, and that's what they did. My grandfather was an engineer, my dad was a teacher, and they wanted me to join Bombardier, and that's a job for life type of thing, the old Belfast mentality, get a good job, keep it for life. And I did do that, and I decided to leave to do what I'm doing now, and that was like such a shock to the whole family who expected me to stay in that role and rise through it and whatever. And I liked it, but I didn't love it. So I guess to answer your question, I would say to my son, do something that you want to do and that you get satisfaction out of, because money, it really isn't everything.
Okay. And where did you kind of start? I mean, where do you start when you're setting up a whole action sport community and park? I mean, where do you start there? I mean, did you just wake up some morning and go, you know what, I'm going to build a skate park?
No, it was completely out of necessity. So if you had told me when I was 18, I still felt really young at 18 because I did nothing but BMX even then. If you had told me at 18 that next year you will partly own and run a skate park, I would have said to you, I don't believe you. But I would have thought that that's unbelievably amazing and it would have been the coolest thing you could possibly do. But I didn't choose to do it. It just kind of happened because all of a sudden the skate park that I went to and I spent almost all of my time in just closed down. All of a sudden. There wasn't even any warning. We went on Thursday, everything was great. We came back on Sunday and it was gone completely with no warning. And I mean, that was like the biggest shock of my life. I couldn't believe it. I had no idea what I was going to do because at that time, when the skate park just closed down, that was probably one of the most progressive parts of my own BMX career, if you want to call it that. That was the sort of time when I would have been watching DVDs flat out, reading magazines, going to the skate park, padding up like Michelin Man, and just learning new tricks every single time I went. So it was a really exciting time because BMX as a sport felt limitless. Like there was nothing I couldn't do. I just hadn't done it yet, and for that to be pulled away from you without even seeing it coming was just completely turned my world upside down. So within only a couple of months of that skate park closing down, that was originally in Bangor, where I am now, coincidentally, same building. Within a couple of months of that closing down, I randomly bumped into a photographer at Ormo BMX track who just so happened to be working with a guy who just so happened to be thinking along the lines of Belfast needs a skate park. And a conversation was struck up pretty quickly with a lot of people who agreed with that idea that a permanent outdoor concrete facility that's there all the time and nobody can take it away needs to happen. And that journey I just fell into it and went along with it. And fast forward 12 years, I'm still doing it.
Brilliant.
So Brilliant. It just kind of happened and I just kind of thought, I care enough about it to see it through, so I'll just see it through.
Brilliant. And working in the industry that you're working in, what are some of the urban myths around that? What are some of the
What are the
thoughts that
urban myths?
people maybe think
Wow.
that aren't true?
I think a lot of people think that I have maybe, I don't know, maybe, I really don't know. I don't get asked very often. But I have an idea that people might think that I'm smug because I have something on everybody, that I have created these facilities, when in actual fact, it's just a massive weight of responsibility. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. I've learnt to handle the responsibility of a big facility and being in control and caring for a couple of hundred people at one time, and being the buck stop. But it's not easy. There's not lots of glory. It's not well paid. It's a massive labour of love. It's
And
just a big commitment.
I mean, you've had to learn a lot of business stuff, because you've been an entrepreneur as well. I mean, what advice would you give to your kids if they wanted to kind of follow that kind of same route?
Okay, so I went into this with blind ambition because I loved skate parks and ramps and how it made me feel and how it was a place to meet other people and get together and make friends and just set and achieve goals. That's what I loved about it. If my son wanted to pursue a passion of his, I would definitely tell him to learn certain things first. I mean, I went into this like a bull in a china shop. I don't know business. I didn't know finance. I didn't know staffing. I didn't know regulations. And I mean, I'm only really getting a handle on that 10 years on. I don't have any business qualifications. I've just fallen into a business like, oh, right, okay, I'm in control of this. I have staff. I have never-ending bills. Right, I better start learning how finance works. I better understand how to motivate people or how to structure business and plan and all that kind of stuff. And I guess that's only actually really fallen into place kind of this year, as crazy as that sounds. I've just never felt it hugely necessary to implement perfect business strategy. As long as I maintained the passion and the drive and found like-minded people who wanted to deliver the project with me, then it got delivered. And it has done all the way along. Maybe you wouldn't have realised that it wasn't really well thought out and with lots of meticulous strategy behind it, but it just took it where it went.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get where you're coming from. I mean, sometimes you just need to throw yourself into all this stuff. Just do it, and if it doesn't work, just do it again until you get it,
Pretty much.
What would you say, anything particularly has helped you along your journey in terms of getting to anything that's been a real big help?
It would have to be people. My parents, number one, first and foremost, because after the shock of me breaking family tradition and walking away from a really secure job, like a job for life with a pension for life, and I mean, anybody who's in shorts for a long time, they're set up once you retire. I think you're on the vast majority of your wage for the rest of your life. So I mean, it's seen as something that's really worthwhile doing, and I didn't even really care about that at all. I just wanted to make sure that what I was working on at the time in the urban sports world got across the line, which was the Bridges project. So I was happy to walk away from it. But geez, I've talked myself in a circle now and lost.
See, as you mentioned, the Bridges project
Yes.
there. I mean, can you tell me how that kind of came about? Because that was kind of the first big outdoor skate
Yes.
park. How did that happen? I mean,
So the Bridges project came about basically when Ramps skatepark in Bangor closed down. That was in 2005. Before the end of 2005, myself and I think 7 or 8 other gentlemen were pulled together into a room by the editor of an extreme sports magazine, a local one called Free Flow. And he basically pitched to us all, who wants to get together and get a skate park for Belfast? And of course we all did. So that kind of formalised itself into an organised group really quickly, and we gave ourselves the name Belfast Urban Sports. And I nominated, I was the youngest person in the room by at least 15 years.
right.
And as soon as the question came as who wants to be the chairman, I was like, I'll do it. Didn't even know what that meant. But what being the chairman of Belfast Urban Sports meant that I needed to be like the face of the organisation. I needed to be passionate. I needed to be able to articulate why our project was worth supporting and sort of champion the cause all the way along. And that meant going to endless amounts of council meetings and site visits and telling the story of the project again and again and again to councillors and people who just look at you and think this is a waste of time, this isn't sport, this is a hobby, it'll blow in and out like a tumbleweed, and just see the project through. So that took 7 years to get that across the line, from first formalising the group to seeing the facility open.
That's mad. 7 years.
Totally. I mean, again, so many things that were a part of that journey I would class as unrealistic. I mean, that journey didn't have to take so long. Mm-hmm. If certain people had paid attention and given our project a bit of credibility earlier, it could have maybe happened 3 or 4 years earlier, but it was an uphill struggle the whole way. And we're lucky that we found people in council who were willing to listen to us and adopt our sort of mentality on the idea of the project and help us see it through.
And from the end, once you got that initial kind of bridges in the skate park, or the skate park in Belfast,
yes,
doing anything else in terms of urban sports, did it make it easier because you kind of had that foundation, or?
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's two reasons why everything after bridges was slightly easier. First of all, the amount of money that was spent on it to get it to what it was really significant. So if I walk into a council meeting in any other council in Northern Ireland, or even Belfast City Council, and I say that I was involved in the Bridges project, that was a £500,000 Piece 3 funded sport community asset for the city. That's a big amount of money and it's a big amount of responsibility, and certain things are sort of legitimised whenever you have worked alongside providing something substantial like that.
Because you have it on your portfolio and it's worked and stuff, yeah.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, okay.
I mean, I don't shout about it as often as I maybe should, but for me personally, it's a reference point. It was a big learning journey, and it allowed us to get the ball rolling in Northern Ireland with regards to skate parks.
I mean, it definitely stands out to me. I mean, every so often, I don't know why it comes up in my YouTube feed, the building of bridges. I'm not too sure who filmed it, but like
Pete Adam, so because it was our project, the Belfast Urban Sports crew, we employed a local videographer who's also really cool. I don't know if you've met him, Pete Adam. Okay. He's a local ex-professional BMX'er who's now probably one of the top 5 filmers in the world of BMX. Really creative, really nice guy. We got him to sort of keep an eye on the project all the way along and then film bits and pieces of it for us.
See when I say it, it's just such an awesome piece of history. You know, it's just so great to see the start of it. Do you know what I mean? And it's so great that it's been recorded. You know, what do you think for seeing the amount of people who've kind of gone through a similar journey you've went through in terms of business and setting up something so big and developing? I mean, why do you think a lot of people will fail or just give up?
Finance. Finance was never ever a certain, never a given. I actually never never. I've never actually went to the bank and got a loan to do anything I've ever done. I've just had an idea, found a way to entrepreneurially earn money and then use the money earned to reinvest. So it's been a kind of, how far can I get without putting my neck on the line? You know, you go to the bank and you ask for 100 grand to do a skate park project. You're going to need your parents to be willing to sign their house up to it, or my own house if I had one, which I don't. But finance is always going to be a struggle. Having said that though, it's not the be all and end all. I'm a guy sitting in front of you having delivered 3 indoor skate parks, several outdoor parks. I've ran several stunt shows, done lots of cool things, worked with amazing people, and I've never done that with a substantial amount of money or any financial backing. I've just persevered through passion. and it's allowed me to finally work it to the point where it is sustainable, and I am now employing people, and I am able to sustain myself and my family, and that's like immensely rewarding, regardless of the length of time it took. It's just the end result is very rewarding.
Awesome. And moving on, so now you've kind of you've did so much in the business. Now you're kind of start setting up a family and stuff. I mean, what would you say is your favorite things to do with your kids? Sorry.
Favorite thing to do with Max. So Maxwell is my 3-year-old. He's just turned 3 on the 14th of January there. He's really active, which is cool. I mean, he loves his Lego and he loves his certain cartoons, as all the youngsters do. But whenever we have Daddy Day, which is every Tuesday religiously, so I don't work on Tuesdays in any capacity, I just hang out with Max. And I got him a little Strider bike.
Okay.
You know, the balance bike that they push with their feet. So I got him one of those. And funny, I thought he would have really loved it straight off the bat. I think I bought it for him when he was just over 2. And brought it home, gave it to him. And he was like, wow, what is this? You know, it had like bright orange, yellow sides to the tires, and it just looked really cool. It was this really cool looking little bike. I gave it to him, I sat him on the seat, put his helmet on, you know, he was all biz. But as soon as he realised that he had to make it work and not me, he instantly wasn't interested. He was just kind of freaked out with like, I can't control this. I'm leaning to the right. Why is this not stopping? And then he would fall over. So he didn't actually take to it at all straight away. He just wanted me to roll him around on it. Yeah. It kind of got shelved for a while. We just kind of left it in the garage and thought, right, listen, we'll come back to that whenever he's ready. And I got sent a video message from my wife one day showing me Maxwell riding the Strider bike down along the Bangor Promenade.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what? How did I not get to be there in that transitional moment where he found out, he worked it out, and then worked out that he enjoyed it? That was really cool. I actually downed what I was doing and went straight down to sort of hang out with him and play, which was really cool. So, I mean, at that moment that he sort of realised that he could work it out and he could balance and he knew how to push it with his legs and things like that there, that became a routine for us every week. So every time we went out, we would have his little bike and his helmet, and I would say to him, right, we're going to go out on your bike today. Are you looking forward to it? Or do you want to go to, you know, like Funky Monkeys or something? And he, believe me, he loves that place. But saying that we're going to go out on the bike is enough of a carrot to get him to behave or get enthusiastic or whatever. It's at the point now where he loves it. And I love that, you know, because...
And what kind of age did you bring him into the park then, or
here's the thing. Well, yeah, I have brought him into the park. Even before we had the Strider, I would bring him in, like whenever my wife and him would come in to see me and work, I would stand him on a scooter and he would hold the handlebars and I would hold his hands on the handlebars and then stand behind him on the scooter and roll around and go on the ramps a little bit, and he would just like squeak with excitement. Do you know what I mean? So it was mad cute, and I thought, okay, he already enjoys this environment. I wonder will he enjoy it whenever he's in control of what he's doing. So whenever we finally got him comfortable on the Strider bike, I brought him down into Thunder Park, and I was rolling around on my BMX, and I'm saying, right, you know, let's follow the leader. You follow me and do what I do. So I would cycle around and just very, very gently go up onto the ramps a little bit and see if he would do it as well. And he did start doing it. Mm-hmm. And he was getting really excited about it. And it's immensely rewarding to know that he enjoys it and that we can have fun, and he sees me on a bike and thinks he's doing the same thing. And so I don't know how long he'll want to do it or if he'll always enjoy it, but right now it's a really good thing.
Brilliant. And as a parent, I mean, I would have did skateboarding when I was younger. So, I mean, I would have seen people fall on stuff, and so I was just kind of used to that. Was there any of those, how does that watching your son, I mean, possibly bail? I mean, was it stressful or?
Funny, no, because
the reason why
I've been around people falling off for such a long time. You kind of learn what the human capability is to deal with pain and panic and, you know, stress and things like that there. So actually, whenever I knew that Maxwell was enthusiastic about using a strider, I went straight to, I think it was Decathlon or Halfords, because they were the only places that I could find like teeny tiny pad sets. So I turned around to my wife and I said, listen, if he falls off, which he is, because he's going faster and faster and he's pushing his limits immensely right now. I mean, he's having so much fun. He's not even looking where he's going.
Yeah.
Like, he's pushing as fast as his legs will go, and his head just turns to look at a bird while he's flying towards a wall, you know. And I thought, rather than running around stopping him doing everything, I'm just going to cover him in pads and let him fall all over the place. And the pads will allow him to take all the tumbles, not experience the pain, and then he won't build fear against it or resent it.
Brilliant. The reason why I ask is recently I took my son to the ski slopes for some ski lessons, and I mean, he's not even that high, but see the thoughts of him just kind of falling, you're kind of standing there and you just kind of feel helpless sometimes.
Yes.
And I think the padding's definitely a good idea. Like, obviously he's wearing a helmet and stuff and all, but you're still that kind of, he's going to fall, do you know what I mean?
You know what? You have to let him fall.
Exactly.
Now, my wife would mollycoddle my son a little bit if he falls. I'm not at all like that. And I hope it doesn't. I definitely wouldn't say it's cruel. It's not cruel to turn around and say, you're okay, get back up.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree.
I would kind of usher him straight away from the sense of you need comforted because you've been hurt. Or I would turn around and say, listen, we've only got 15 minutes left. Yeah. Quick, get back up and let's go again. And he'll sort of understand that every little instance isn't worth making a big deal out of. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. So you're doing loads, okay? I mean, obviously it takes a lot of time and effort setting up, doing all the business stuff you do in the parks and stuff. I mean, how do you find working on that balance between dad and work?
I suck at it. I'm really bad. It kind of shocked me to realise that whilst building Thunder Park, I was also getting married and moving house with a toddler. So it wasn't really like I had planned it out. I just thought, yep, I can do it. I'm just going to do it. And what that really meant was lots of long days, lots of uncertainty, lots of having to just go with the flow of things. You know what I mean? If I have an insanely busy day in the facility and I don't have enough staff trained or employed yet because the capacity of the company isn't there yet, that means I have to stop whatever I'm doing and react to that. You know what I mean? So I was pretty much at the company's disposal entirely for around 2 years, which meant almost for the first 2 years of my son's life, I didn't really see him that much. Maybe he might have had a solid 6-hour block with me having fun a week, but that was it for the first 2 years of his life. I didn't think too much about it until my wife started reminding me subtly, and I kind of just thought, right, okay, I can't do that. That's not fair. You know I want to grow a business and I know I want to establish a brand, but I need to remember to be a dad and a husband too, because I was new to both of those things with a new business. So as of a few months ago, I kind of just made an agreement with my wife that one day during the week I would religiously, definitely spend a whole quality day with my son, which has worked. Yeah. Now, there are times where I've had to cancel that or move it, but for the most part, he knows that a daddy day is coming up, and whenever that does come up, he's good as gold, and we have the best crack.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that. I mean, sometimes we spend so much time organising for work. I mean, like my work diary is just religious, and I'm the same. I try and I almost put that into my diary and build it in as well. You
have to.
The time, because you just have to, or it just doesn't work. And I kind of operate a similar system. I try and take the weekends off now. Mm-hmm. You probably have to work weekends because it's best for you.
Someday I'll be able to get away with it, but
yeah,
right now,
I know, and I just take weekends off now, and it just completely works for me. If you have one superpower as a parent, what would it be and why?
Superpower as a parent. Flip. Would definitely be the ability to control time, for sure.
Okay.
It would have to be. There are so many occasions, flip me, every day actually, where I wish I could stop 1 o'clock and make it last like 5 hours, so I could get a load of stuff done and then get back in the mix. I'm the type of guy who constantly feels like I don't have enough hours in the day, or else I'm just really suck at prioritizing my time, or I'm hugely inefficient. I don't know which it is, but if I had the ability to make certain moments last longer or speed things up to be able to do whatever, that'd be cool.
Awesome.
I don't need super strength or to see through windows, but if I could extend time to my advantage, that'd be amazing.
Brilliant. And see, knowing what you know now, it's 2020 now, so knowing what you know now, what would you want to tell yourself pre-dad?
You know what? I don't know. I've just completely taken it as it is. I didn't really go into it stressing too heavily. I think I've really kind of had to just grow up fast and deal with responsibility by taking on this skatepark project, and running facilities where you do have 110-year-olds and you are responsible for all of them. And if they fall and get hurt, you have to control and manage their expectations, then phone a parent in a way that they know that their son or daughter is hurt and needs to go to hospital, but you don't panic them, and all this kind of stuff. So actually working in a high risk sort of job role, I think set me up really well for parenthood. I wasn't really overly scared of doing nappies or things like that. So I've taken, I suppose, quite a relaxed approach to parenthood and kind of taken it as it comes and just try to be observant and learn why my son wants to do something rather than saying no to him 100 times a day. You know what I mean? So, and plus I have quite a fresh, forward-thinking wife as well who just likes to give our little dude some freedom, and let him find out his way about the world, and then we'll learn about how he works and work around that.
Brilliant. Okay, so one of the skate parks you'd set up was in T13.
Mm-hmm.
T13 is such a historical, iconic building because of the relationship it has with the Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything, I think you were working in that building for how many years?
I was in T13 for 5 years.
5 years.
So I did from opening to 2015.
So, I mean, being there all the time, was there anything particularly that stood out from the building that maybe a lot of people just don't know about?
I tell you, that's probably the hardest work I'll ever do in my life. I averaged about anything from 80 to 90 hours a week every week with no significant holidays or time off for 5 years straight. So, working in a building like that where there are so many elements you can't control, you just have to work with what you have. It was phenomenally challenging. Whenever we moved into the building, all of the doors weren't secure. There was probably 3 holes in the roof the size of double-decker buses. And I mean, if you're a commercial organisation and you need a hole in the roof fixed like that, that could be like 40 grand, and myself and the team were very much of the thinking of, okay, how do we fix that? Can we fix that ourselves? Okay, let's fix that ourselves. So we did, and we renovated the building ourselves in our own time with our own finances. And it didn't have running water when we moved in. It didn't have flushing toilets when we moved in. It didn't have any electricity. It didn't have any lights. So having to install every single thing from cabling from the electrical box to a fuse board to wire a light in was like massive progress. So having those struggles early on in business, it really sort of builds resilience into you, which makes problems that come along my path now not as much of a problem because I've had to deal with worse.
Yeah.
So it was just a huge ongoing maintenance project.
And why did you pick there for the location?
It was actually coincidental. it's not that I picked it myself. One of the other directors of Belfast Urban Sports, who I was working with at the time, had met a gentleman who was the managing director of the Titanic Foundation. So he had a conversation with this gentleman from the Titanic Foundation and told him about the work that we were doing and how we were partnering with Belfast City Council to bring about the first ever urban sports park, and that we had a facility in Dunmurry and we would like to expand. And the conversation pretty much went along the lines of, listen, we have a large building across the road. If you can make use of that and bring families into the area and attract people into the Titanic Quarter pre the Titanic Museum being built, then we will let you use the space. That's pretty much how it happened. I mean, it's just as luck would have it.
Yeah.
You couldn't possibly have planned for that. That was just a right place at the right time, the right conversation, with the right temperament and mentality, that we ended up getting a big space to use for a load of years.
Awesome. And what kind of took the reason to move to Bangor then?
Well, the reason why I opened the facility in Bangor right now is because, one, I live in the area. Two, I've already, I want to say been there, done that, but I know what it's like to open and run and manage a facility in Belfast, along with all the bills and positives and negatives of it. So I kind of took the thinking of, Bangor to me feels like a leisure destination. Let's say you're from Belfast or Lisburn or whatever, and you think to yourself, let's go somewhere today for a family day out. In my mind, Bangor's probably in the top 5 places that I want to go. I would either go to Bangor and walk along the seafront, or I would go to the new Aurora Leisure Centre, or they have the go-karting centre where I'm now located in. There's lots of leisure activities and outdoor things to do in Bangor, and I thought, well, this type of facility lends itself to an area that already attracts people for the natural resources of the area. So I thought, I think I can make this work in this area, and if I design and build a facility that is attractive enough, people will come to it from anywhere anyway. And thankfully that is the case. Every given weekend we would have customers from just about anywhere in Ireland, as far away as Waterford, right up to Portrush, Derry, Fermanagh, Omagh. It's not like just the kids from Bangor are coming to us. If I had only the kids from Bangor coming to us, that would be great. I would love to work with more people from the area and have more of an impact locally. But thankfully the elements that are in the park are enough to attract people from all over, which is a really good sign.
Brilliant. And being in the position that you're in now, what would you say are maybe one or two of the biggest highlights in the last 20 years? What would you say is the biggest
highlight in the last 20 years? Okay, well, highlight would be, I think I invented a trick in 2010.
Right.
Nobody's ever confirmed it, but I filmed a video for a sponsor who I had gotten in 2009, and it was a sort of welcome to the team video. And at the end of the video, I had did a combo trick that I hadn't seen anybody do before, and it ended up getting that video on the sort of the front page of just about all of the significant BMX blogs of the world for a day.
Brilliant.
So that was probably a pretty amazing moment.
What was the trick, a combo of?
It was a tail whip to ice pick with a bar spin out on a 5-foot ramp. So loads of things about that trick and the size of the ramp it was done on make it sort of extra difficult, and that's just really kind of the style of my riding. I'm not the guy who'll jump really high in the air or do loads of backflips, but I'll do the kind of technical things, and I guess that's kind of like the pinnacle of my technicality moves. So even if I watch the video back and I see it now, I think it's class, because there's no way on earth I could do that now. And a lot of people aren't still doing it. So that was a really cool thing for me to be able to get that done and have it on video and sort of refer back to it. As well as that, I now get to judge international competitions, which is really cool. And that kind of happened because in T13 we had been asked by one of the big BMX contests of the UK to host a qualifying round. So that was for the NAS festival in 2012. That's one of the biggest freestyle skate, BMX, and rollerblade competitions. And they'd asked us to hold a qualifying round for for people to qualify to go into the regional finals in the UK. And at that event, that contest had sent over a judge to work with us to basically make sure that the event was rolled out properly. And I had said to the judge when he had arrived, I wasn't aware he was coming, by the way. He had come in and I already had a judging system created and criteria of how people would be scored and how and where they would earn points and why. And I sort of explained to him what my idea was. And I think he was reasonably impressed with the structure of it and how he had no idea that we would even know how to think about things like that. And we already had an idea of how we think it was fair, and he agreed with it. So I think based on that, that gave me a bit of a sort of reputation of understanding how it works and how to judge it fairly. And now I get asked to do that, which is amazing. So last year I was in the World Championships in Germany, literally sitting beside the best known BMX'er on the planet, Matt Hoffman, scoring competitions, having a beer, just having a chat, like one Matt to another. But 20 million people know who he is, and 200 people know who I am. So it's a pretty incredible feeling, really.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty amazing now. I mean, to be sitting beside someone
who's got a PlayStation game and has had a successful bike company for almost as long as I've been alive. It's just mad.
That's crazy. It's also interesting that out of everything you've done, the best thing that you can point out is on your bike, and it's fantastic to hear that.
Well, I guess when you break it all down to the bare bones of it all, I'm just a BMXer who wants to make sure that I can still BMX, and if by doing that it means that hundreds of others can get involved and find a passion, develop personalities, make friends, all the organic, amazing, super cool things that come out of this industry, then that's just a massive bonus. Hence why I love what I do and it doesn't feel like work.
What's the next big thing for you then?
Oh, don't. I have so many ideas.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I'm learning though, right? So I've always had this sort of mentality of, if I want to do it, I'll do it, and I'll just do it. So I've kind of done that for a while. If I want to build a ramp, I'll just build it. If I want to do something, I'll do it. If I want to start a brand, I'll start it. My only limitations are the ones I put on myself. Having done what I've done for such a long time, and the speed at which I can deliver it at is always slow. So I guess over the last couple of years, what I've definitely learned about myself is understanding my strengths and understanding my weaknesses and planning future moves based off that. So I definitely want to do a lot more. I have no intention of moving industry or job anytime soon, but I want to deliver more projects in more areas, but I don't want to do it on my own this time, so I would say one of the next big moves I'll do is probably formulate a charity that will work along with government bodies and agencies and use public money to take the sort of foundations that I put in place and really make that mainstream. I want people to be able to skateboard, scoot and BMX in school and locally everywhere in Northern Ireland, not just major cities. And they should be appreciated and recognised for the amazing sports that they are, two of which are now Olympic. BMX and skateboarding, those are freestyle sports that Sport NI told me 2005 are hobby sports and they wouldn't support them. Those are now Olympic sports. You know what I mean? That's amazing. I don't know how that's going to explode the popularity of these sports later on this year when the whole world sees them on TV. But it's exciting to know that if a lot of interest picks up, that there are now places to go. You can now go to a skate park in Belfast. That's a reminder I put on my phone to stop working and eat, or I just wouldn't.
Oh, I know.
Whenever the Olympics shines a spotlight on skateboarding and BMXing, and people in this country do find it exciting and interesting and want to take part in it, now they can go to Bridges in Belfast, the Carrick skate park at the Leisure Centre, the new one in Solitude Park in Banbridge, or my own park in Bangor, or the other indoor park in Belfast run by the Ramp Ice guys. There are places to go. Believe me when I say when I started out, I had like a concrete planter that was in a car park at Iceland on the Upper Newtonards Road. That was my skate park for 2.5 years, until I eventually ventured down to Ormo Park and realised that they had jumps, you know. So what we had back then was ridiculously limited. My local skate park was Liverpool, England. You know, it wasn't like I could cycle or drive to somewhere. I needed to get a boat or a plane. And for so many years, that's what we actually did. That's how I kind of, I don't know, made a name for myself in the UK scene, and was able to sort of bring or attract other good, well-known riders or companies or events to this country, just by simply leaving, making a load of friends, pardon me, showing people around the UK that there are actually BMX'ers from Northern Ireland, and it's not just this weird country that nobody knows who owns it, you know.
Brilliant, man. Those are some awesome words today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. If you would like to follow Matt, check out Thunder Park Skate Park on Instagram and Facebook. Would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the podcast. Also like our Facebook and Instagram page. And guys, thanks for listening.